What makes someone progress, right? To actually make this change of like, let's say, going from skinny to jacked or going from like poor to rich. What makes someone progress is just urgency, right? Wanting to get out of the situation they're in, right? So urgency, and then they sort of get motivated to get out, right? And essentially, bro, this is really important because where you're at right now and you wanting to get out of your situation is just because you don't have enough urgency, right? You don't have like a dip to say, right? You don't feel bad about where you're at. And sort of, we need to make you sort of feel bad, and you need to have more times of feeling bad, okay? And so this is really important because of that. And this is essentially what will make you progress, okay? And I like to call these waves, okay? So I'm going to teach you what are waves. So like waves are essentially like when you like go up and then go down and it feels kind of bad, right? Waves, and then when you should like ride them anyways, like why you should ride the waves anyways, and then why you should spam them, okay? So let's get started, bro. So first thing, what is a wave, okay? A wave is when you like ride the wave, right? You go up, you feel really good, and then obviously it comes down, right? So, I mean, a regular wave, like I guess on the cartoons, whatever, it looks kind of like that. But essentially, bro, you go up the wave, it feels good, and then here somewhere you go and fall and it feels pretty bad, right? And usually you go like a bit below baseline as well. So that's essentially what waves are. This can like manifest itself, like you can see this in many different ways, right? This can be, let's say, like with a partner, right? This can be, I don't know, with like family. This can be, I don't know, literally in general, like how your life looks like. Essentially, like maybe your life is getting better in some ways, then it goes and dips down. And essentially, what I want to tell you is that these waves are going to happen anyways, in a sense, right? These waves are going to happen anyways, okay? And you're going to feel probably like horrible sometimes anyways, okay? But the thing is, you're just like not control of those. You're not in control of them. And then that's why it'll change your life around so much, okay? And essentially, like you don't know sort of when they're coming, when to expect them. And so when you don't purposely ride these waves, the waves will sort of carry you, okay? And then that's how you'll be like thrown around, okay, in a sense. And let's say that's how people honestly like get depressed, right? And so on, is because they just like don't ride the waves like voluntarily, right? When they can, right? Voluntarily, I mean by, let's say, maybe, you go to the gym, right? And it doesn't feel good, okay? But you do make progress, okay? So that's sort of riding a wave in a sense. And when you don't purposely ride these waves, you're sort of procrastinating on them. And then when stuff like life normally feels bad, it's going to feel way worse because you haven't experienced any other waves before, okay? So I want to go over so we went over what are waves. Then I want to go over let me just take this like this, okay? So why you should actually ride the waves, okay? Why you should ride them is because you're going to make way, way, way faster progress, okay? Because I'm sure you've seen this a lot. When someone goes through like a really bad period of their life, that's when they let's say their life was looking good, right? Their life was looking pretty good, and then they had like a big dip, and then that makes them go like way up, right? It makes them like, make huge progress, okay? That's because they rode a wave, right? Maybe voluntarily or involuntarily, right? They rode that wave, and then it got them a lot of urgency, right? To get out of where they were at, right? They really, really wanted to get out of here, so they did everything they could to get out of there, okay? So they essentially rid the wave, okay? And they made a lot of progress because of that. But the thing is, if you only ride the waves that like involuntarily come to you, you're not going to ride a lot of waves, to be honest, right? You're not going to do much in your life. Like the average person, maybe they'll go through like 1, 2, 3, maybe breakups, right? I don't know, maybe they'll have like, some people pass away in their life. Maybe they'll, like the average person's life is quite boring, okay? So they don't have a lot of like these big dip situations, or maybe they have like very few of them. Maybe like, you grow up rich or whatever, right? And you just don't have many of them, okay? And obviously that'll give you less urgency to change. But the thing is, when you ride these waves voluntarily, you're gonna make so much progress because essentially, bro, every couple of like, I don't know, weeks, right? You're gonna hit this other low, right? So you're gonna bounce up here, then you're gonna bounce again, right? And you're gonna keep on riding these waves and keep on going up, okay? So how you actually like voluntarily get these waves to come to you, okay? These obviously form in tons of different ways, okay? But how you can like voluntarily get them is by doing hard things, okay? Doing hard things like this could be like going to the gym, right? Going gym is definitely a good one. I mean, that's literally what my channel is based on, right? Going gym, this could be like stuff you're just uncomfortable with doing. Maybe this could be like talking to girls, right? Because obviously it doesn't feel good, right? And maybe you get rejected and then you ride a wave, right? That's a small wave, right? You ride right there. So it's like maybe you go and approach a girl. You got rejected, okay, you feel pretty bad. Then you have urgency to change, right? You have urgency to get better, maybe get another girl, right? So that you make progress, okay? But then let's say you plateau, right? And you maybe, I don't know, you don't keep on riding waves, right? You don't have the surfer mentality, right? Let's call it that. You don't have the surfer mentality. And so then you stay stagnant, okay? Instead of, riding another wave here, riding another wave and then bouncing down and more urgency again, okay? And so you need to ride these waves. How I've done this in the past was like let's say someone passed away. I'm not going to get into the details, right? But someone passed away and then voluntarily I used, that dark energy to sort of put it into something better, right? Which was the gym for me, okay? And so I used that urgency, right? To get better in like business and in the gym, right? In fitness. And so you need to sort of like, even though that was like that was a voluntary one, like involuntarily, right? Let's say that could be like with girls, right? Going and approaching tons of girls. You don't feel good, right? But then you make a lot of progress in girls, right? So it's like you sort of have to give that up, right? You have to get that urgency to actually go ahead and make that progress. Now, I want to also talk about spamming these waves, okay? I actually got this sort of idea from Lit Nomad. His name is called on YouTube. But essentially, what he does is like he'll go 29 days of the month living homeless. Okay, 29 days of the month. Wow, what is that? 29 days of the month living homeless, and then he'll have one day where he lives in like the fanciest hotel. Now I think this guy has more than enough money to retire, right? But he'll do this just so that he can ride this wave and have more waves in his life. And I'm sure you can do this in many other ways, right? But he literally spammed this. Voluntarily, he spams these waves, okay? So you need to also be doing the same sort of thing. You need to be looking for these opportunities in like times where you feel bad, right? Because feeling bad is essentially where you make the most progress, okay? And so you need to find these, like, you need to literally, like, look for these. You need to snipe these moments for you to feel bad, right? You need to be like, okay, what will make me feel absolutely horrible? Maybe it's like an ice bath, right? Maybe it's like doing some work that you've been avoiding, right? But you have to ride these waves, you have to find them, and you have to absolutely spam them every single day, because that's how you're going to make so much more progress, because you're going to have way more urgency than everyone else, right? You're going to really want to change from your situation. And so since you have like the will to change, you're going to find out how to actually change, okay? So putting this into more like concrete terms, right? This could be, let's say, the guy who takes like, the guy who doesn't ride the waves could be like someone who just like scrolls all day. Probably you, to be honest. Someone who just scrolls all day, eats the same thing. Yo, it's leaking. Okay, let's switch. So someone who like scrolls all day, eats like the same food, doesn't do anything adventurous, doesn't do anything like hard, right? No hard things. Versus the guy who, just like takes life to like the absolute hardest, lives at his like absolute edge, okay? This is like the guy who will like approach every single day. Okay, approach girls every single day. The guy who will do the work anyways, right? Do the work. And because he knows that if he, goes through these hard things in the beginning, maybe that might be like facing rejection, right? At an approach, he'll know that he'll get better in girls, and so in the long term, he'll just feel better, and he'll make faster progress, right? Because he keeps on going through these waves, okay? And he keeps on finding this urgency to keep on making progress, okay? So yeah, bro, you gotta spam these waves. I hope you really do go ahead and spam these waves. This is not a very like regular video to watch. Not a very dopaminergic video at all either. I have literally no editing in this video, and I hope this video has helped you a lot, bro. And I want to help you out even more. So I've put my Calendly link, that's the first link in the description, for you to book a call. That'll just help you out there for an hour. And the second one is like my free community, where you can just go ahead and join. There are other people there striving for similar goals like us, and it's absolutely sick to see. So yeah, bro, book a call. I hope to see you there, and have an absolutely amazing day. Keep overloading, bro.